Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today topic is this keyword and arrays in Java. First we see the what is this keyword in Java. In this keyword is used for the reference variable that reference to the current object. This is an internal or implicit object created by Java for two purposes. There are this object is internally pointing to current class object, means it pointing to the current class object whenever the formal parameters and data member of the class are similar. To differentiate the data member of the class from formal parameter, the data member of the class must be preceded by this. This is used for calling current class default constructor from current class parameterized constructor. This is used for calling current class parameterized constructor from other category constructor of the same class. Here it is used for calling the class constructors that such as default and parameterized. For this we use this keyword. It is used for the reference variable to refer the current class object. Here next one is the uses of this keyword. Here the this keyword can be used to refer current class instance variable. This can be used to invoke current class constructor also. Rule for this is whenever we use this keyword, the this in the current class constructor and that statement must be used as first statement only. Whenever we use this keyword, the current class constructors and the statement must be used first only. The order of output containing this or will be reversed in the order of the input which we give as inputs. Means when we use this keyword, the order will be used in the reverse manner when we give as input. Means here that this keyword is used for referring the current class instance variable and it is used to invoke the current class constructor because it is used to represent a particular class variable or particular method variable, and it is used to invoke the constructor also. Next one is the example for referring the current class instance variable. Here we taken the class student int id int marks, student int id int marks, this dot id is equal to id, this dot marks is equals to marks, void display of system dot out dot println id marks, public static void main, student s1 new student, student s2 new student, and s1 dot display s2 dot display. Here the instance variable means we use the instance variables inside the class but outside the method. We have taken the instance variables such as id and mask. This keyword is used to refer the instance variables such as id and marks. So the output of this will become 111 comma 1500 and 222 comma 2000. Here the output will become like this. Next one is the example to invoke the current class constructor. Example will be class student int id int marks and student. We have taken the constructor. Default constructor is invoked. Student int id int marks and this keyword is taken. This dot id is equal to id, this dot marks is equal to marks, void display system dot out dot println id and marks, and public static void main student s1 new student s2 new student s1 dot display s2 dot display. Here we have taken the constructor. It is used to invoke the current class constructor. Means here this will be used to invoke the current class constructor. We have taken the constructor name as student. Here the output will become like default constructor is invoked and 111 1500 222 2000. It is the output of this. Next one is the arrays in Java. An array is a group of variables that is share the same name and ordered sequentially from 0 to 1 less than the number of variables in the array. Means if we take the values such as array size as 10, it will take as index from 0 to 9. Means 0 to n minus 1. The number of variables that can be stored in array is called the array's dimension. Each variable in the array is called element of the array. Means The number of variables where we have stored in an array is called array's dimension. Each variable in this array is called an element of an array. Arrays is nothing but a set of values which have the similar data type. This is the array in Java. Next one is the creating, declaring and initiating. Creating means there are 3 steps for creation of array: declaring, allocating and initializing. First one is the declaring array. Like other variables in Java, an array must have a specific type like byte, int, string or double. Only variables of the appropriate type can be stored in array. You cannot have an array will store both ints and store and strings. For instance, like all the variables in Java, an array must be declared. When you declare an array, you suffix the type with square brackets to indicate with this type array with the variable. Here are some of the example: int square brackets k, float square brackets and yt, string square brackets and name. Before declaring this array, we have to use the square brackets and the data type and the name for this variable. So for declaring this, we have using the data type, square brackets and the name. Next one is the allocating. Declaring an array means what it is. It does not create the array. To actually create the array, the new operator will be using. When we create an array, we have to tell the compiler how many elements can be stored in this array. Here we have taken k is equal to new int 3. Here we have taken, next one is the yt is equal to new float 7. Names is equal to new string. Number of brackets will be specified the dimension of the array, means number of variables stored in this array. How many slots it has hold its values. With the dimension above, k can hold 3 ints, yt can hold 7 floats and names can be hold 50 strings. In allocating arrays, we have to use the dimension of the array in the square brackets. It is used to hold the values of these arrays. Next one is the initialization of array. Individual elements of the array are defined by an array name and then by an integer which represents their position of the array. The number we use to identify them are called subscripts or index in the array. Subscripts are consecutive numbers beginning with 0. Thus the array k has the elements k0, k1, k2 and so on. Since we have started counting at 0, there is no k3, and trying to access it will generate an array index out of bounds exception. Means if we are using the array of size 3, then the indexes will become from 0 to 2. If we are taking k3 value, there will be no value from it. So it will take as an exception such as array index out of bounds exception. Next one is the advantages. First one is the code optimization. Code optimization means it makes the code optimized. We can retrieve or sort the data efficiently. Next one is the random access. We can get data located at an index position. Next one is the disadvantages means size limit. We have declared the size of this array. We cannot enlarge the size. So it is the disadvantages in this. To specify this problem, we have to use the jagged array. There are 3 types of arrays in Java. One is the single dimensional or one dimensional array, 2-dimensional or multi-dimensional. Third one is jagged array. First one is the syntax to declare an array in Java. Here data type array and square brackets is the syntax for this single dimension and instantiation of array in Java. Array reference variable is equal to new data type of size. Means here we are using new operator for this instantiation. Example, class test array, public static void main, string arguments int a, new int 5. We have taken of array size and data type int, and new operator will be taken a0 10, a1 20, a2 70, a3 40, a4 50. For loop have been taken. System.out.println a of I means we are taking the values 10, 20, 70, 40, 50 of array of size 5. So the indexes will become a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3, a of 4. So the output of this will be 10, 20, 70, 40, 50. Next one is the two-dimensional array. Declaring, allocating and initializing the two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional arrays are declared, allocated and initialized much like one-dimensional arrays. However, we have to specify two dimension rather than one. We typically use two nested for loops to fill the array. The array example above filled or the sum of rows and column indexes. Here some code that we would create and fill array such as class fill array, public static void main string arguments int, and we have taken two square brackets, that is for one for row and one for column index. M is equal to new int 4 5. We have taken two for loops as mentioned. For int row is equal to 0, row less than 4, means we have taken a size of row 4 and row plus plus. Next one for column 0, column less than 5, column plus plus. M row M column is equal to row plus column. So this is the example for the two-dimensional array. Next one is the multi-dimensional array. We don't have to stop with two dimension. Java let us to take the arrays of 3, 4 or 4 dimensions also. However, chances are pretty good that if you need more than 3 dimensions in an array, we are probably using the wrong data structure. So even 3-dimensional arrays are exceptionally rare out of the scientific and engineering application. The syntax for this 3-dimensional arrays is the direct extension for 2-dimensional array, such as syntax will become like data type, array, reference variable and square brackets. Here we have taken the 3-dimensional means we will take the 3 square brackets, that is the example int 4 5 3. Multi-dimensional arrays or the extension for the 2-dimensional arrays, and we are using these multi-dimensional arrays as the exception rare outside of the scientific and engineering application. We don't have to stop from a 2-dimension, we can use the multi-dimensional array. Next one is the above arrays are called static arrays, that is the memory is allocated at the time of compilation. Next one is the jagged array. Jagged array is a dynamic array, means the size of the jagged array is not fixed. Jagged array is again divided into two types: one-dimensional jagged array, multi-dimensional jagged array. For one-dimensional jagged array, there is no need to declare the size of the array. For this, array memory is allocated at the time of running. It will not allow any. It will allow any number of elements. And for multi-dimensional jagged array, first row contains any number of elements, second row contains any number of elements, means nth row and nth column contains the any number of elements, because there is no size fixed in this row and column in multi-dimensional array. So the jagged array is used as a dynamic array. It is used for the compile time of running, and they will not allow any number of elements, and this jagged array is used for the dynamic array, that is the memory is allocated at the time of running and it will allow any number of elements, and we can store this jagged array without any size, and the size is not fixed in this jagged array. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel.